Alright folks, as we all know, NVIDIA is the king of chip makers, but there is a new contender in town. This is Cerebra. They just had one of the biggest IPOs of this year, priced at $185 a share, but they closed their first trading day at $311, which is that is a serious contender. And what makes them very interesting is they offer a very different narrative compared to NVIDIA. This is their computer chip. It's roughly the size of a dinner plate. If you hold it up to your torso, it's that big. All right, it's about more than 50 times larger than an NVIDIA H100. So let's take this opportunity in this video to familiarize ourselves with Cerebras. What are they doing differently compared to NVIDIA? Because I think, we're all using AI here. I think it's definitely nice to be in the loop, to know what's going on with the makers that is powering our day-to-day work. So to understand why Cerebras exists, you need to understand the memory wall. AI models in general, they're very hungry. They need two things. They need compute power and memory. Lots of both. And here's how it works. In a standard GPU, compute sits on the GPU die, while the high bandwidth memory sits in nearby HBM stacks on the package. And that's extremely fast, but data still has to move between compute and memory. And the problem here is every time it moves, you sort of lose speed, you generate heat, you burn power. It's a bit of an oversimplification here, but when you scale it to hundreds or thousands of GPUs, they can really multiply. So it's like running a factory where the workers and the warehouse are in different buildings. You can build more roads, but there is a limit. And normally how chips are made is you take a big silicon wafer about 300 millimeters across, and you etch these hundreds of smaller chips onto it. And then you cut it, and each little square becomes a chip, like a H100, a CPU, whatever, right? But then Cerebras looks at this and asks, what if we didn't cut it? Right? What if the entire wafer was the chip? And that's what they call the wafer-scale integration. So instead of hundreds of tiny chips, you get one massive chip where the compute, local SRAM, and Interact fabric all live on the same piece of silicon. Now, however, that doesn't eliminate every memory bottleneck. The full CS3 system still uses external memory. For large models, in case you didn't know, the Cerebras CS3, this is their AI accelerator. So there are still some problems there, but it reduces off-chip data movement and give Cerebras enormous on-wafer bandwidth. So going back to that analogy of the factory where you have workers and warehouses in different buildings, instead of having delivery trucks moving between those buildings, everything is just under one roof. Right, so they took that concept and made WSE3, the wafer-scale engine 3. This is Cerebras' third generation. And if you compare it to NVIDIA's H100, this is what we're dealing with. You can see the size, the transistors is a lot bigger. The WSE3 AI core has 900,000, whereas the H100 has about 17,000 CUDA cores and 528 tensor cores. But these core counts aren't directly comparable because the architectures are completely different. And then the on-chip memory has 44 gigabytes of SRAM with 21 petabytes per second of bandwidth. 21 PB per second. The H100 does 3.35, so that's roughly 3 orders of magnitude difference, which is incrementally bigger. It's a completely different category, right? Okay, so big numbers are fun, but does it actually perform? So Cerebras originally pushed wafer scale systems for training giant AI models, and it still markets CS3 for both training and inference. But its most eye-catching number recently are in latency-sensitive inference, where speed per user really matters here. And on Llama 4 Maverick, that's a 400 billion parameter model. Benchmark cited by Cerebras from artificial analysis measured 2,500 22 output tokens per second per user. NVIDIA's published result on DGX B200 was about 1,000 tokens per second. And outside the LLMs, researchers reported up to 200 times speed up over H100 on one carbon capture simulation workload. But here's the important caveat. These are workload specific wins. Cerebras is not this replacement for every GPU workload, and it doesn't have CUDA, which is a big problem because the software ecosystem that NVIDIA has spent 2 decades building, everyone's using CUDA. A lot of AI frameworks and libraries are built on top of it. So Cerebras doesn't have that, but they do have their own software stack, which is good, but it's not CUDA. So the narrative here isn't Cerebras replacing NVIDIA across the board. It's more of, Cerebras, they're carving out a niche where its architecture has a structural advantage with fast inference, certain training setups, and specialized data flow workloads. So Cerebras is basically betting the exact opposite, which is to make one gigantic chip. And what's interesting here is, according to their IPO filings, OpenAI agreed to spend more than $20 billion over several years on Cerebras-powered compute. So they have this relationship going with OpenAI. So if you're using GPT, it's worth knowing that Cerebras is also playing a part behind the infra. So what's the catch here? It's got to be software. No CUDA means developers need to learn Cerebras tools, which means onboarding friction, which takes a lot of time. And another thing here to note is NVIDIA is definitely not sleeping, right? They have to compete, and their Vera Rubin platform is their next major AI architecture announced for this year's cycle, and it could narrow the inference performance gap. And most importantly, Cerebras is being asked to scale from selling systems and operating specialized cloud capacity into a much larger infrastructure role, which means that execution risk can be quite high, right? So here's what I think. Basically, Cerebras proves that there's room for real architectural innovation beyond GPUs. Wafer-scale integration is not a gimmick anymore. It attacks the memory and interconnect bottleneck from a very different angle than GPU clusters. The published benchmark numbers are impressive, but they're workload specific. They're cherry picking here, and should not be read as a universal GPU replacement claims. The market clearly believes that there's demand. A mid $60 billion valuation doesn't happen by accident. That's a very impressive number. But whether wafer scale becomes mainstream or stays a niche depends on 2 things. Can Cerebras build a software ecosystem that developers actually want to use? And can they execute at hyperscale without stumbling? Right? NVIDIA built an empire by being the default. Cerebras is asking, what if we started from a blank wafer? So I hope you found this video helpful. Now you know who Cerebras is and what is their role in the AI space. Remember to smash up that like button, subscribe to the channel. My name is Ron. Shana now!